Yo! The quarterfinals in the 2025 AFCON is finally here. And with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the 4 matches that we will be seeing. Mali against Senegal, Cameroon against Morocco, Algeria against Nigeria, and Egypt against Cote d'Ivoire. These games are absolutely phenomenal, and it's very rare that we see a quarterfinal with the 8 best ranked teams in the AFCON. That's insane. Now, obviously, so far in this tournament, we haven't seen a traditional upset, which we usually do end up seeing at some point in these AFCON tournaments, but now it leaves us with the 8 best teams, and who's going to win, that's what I'm going to be telling you guys in today's video. As always, remember to subscribe to the channel, as I'm almost at 6,000 subscribers and I can't do it without you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first match, we have Mali against Senegal. Senegal, to be honest, I think everyone expected them to be here. Realistically, if you look at all the countries in Africa, I think Senegal probably have a top 3 team. Their attack is incredible. They have great players in the midfield. They have a great goalkeeper, and even their defensive players are very good as well. Realistically, Senegal probably have the most well-rounded team in the AFCON, and so far in this tournament, it's shown. They have been one of the best teams so far. We saw them score 3 goals against Botswana, 3 goals against Benin. They drew 1-1 against DR Congo in the group stages, but then in the round of 16, where they were coming up against Sudan, once again, they scored 3 goals. So in this game, I don't think Mali can come into it playing defensive. I think if they come into this game playing defensive, once again, Senegal will score 3 goals, and Mali cannot do that. The only way that Mali can win this game is if they come at Senegal, if they properly attack Senegal, because we have seen that Senegal have been susceptible to goals in some of the previous games that they've played. Now, if we go back to the group stages, to the Senegal game against DR Congo, Senegal were the better team for majority of that game, but at the start of the second half, they did end up conceding against DR Congo, and it was a great goal by Bakambu. And if you move forward to the round of 16, where Senegal were coming up against Sudan, they also conceded a goal, which Sudan scored in the 6th minute, and it was a fantastic goal. But what does this tell you? This tells you that Senegal are very susceptible to conceding goals at the start of the game and at the start of the second half. And we've noticed this in almost every single one of Senegal's games, where at the start of the game and at the start of the second half, it always takes them about 10 to 15 minutes to actually get going. So in those first 10 to 15 minutes, that is a window for Mali to possibly score goals. With that being said, Mali have been a big surprise, and I can't believe that they're playing in the quarterfinals and they still haven't won a game yet. Has this ever happened in history, that a team has reached the quarterfinals of an international competition without winning a game in full time? They drew against Zambia in the group stages, then they drew 1-1 against Morocco, which was a good result by them, but then they drew 0-0 against Comoros, which was very poor by Mali, and in the round of 16, they drew 1-1 against Tunisia after full time, and they did end up beating Tunisia on penalties after they came back from Basuma missing the very first penalty. So can Mali get another 1-1 draw and win on penalties? They could. I'm not saying it's impossible, but in my opinion, I do think Senegal will win this game 3-1. Moving on to the next match, we have Cameroon against Morocco. This is going to be a very interesting game. Obviously, you have the host Morocco with all the home fans supporting them, but then you have Cameroon, a team who so many people, including myself, ruled out since the start from all the problems they've been having with their federation. Some of the things that Eto'o has been saying and some of his actions don't really make sense. But with that being said, Cameroon are playing amazing football, and I'm pretty surprised that they've been this good in this competition. Cameroon are still undefeated so far in their first 4 matches, and one thing that I think Cameroon have been doing really good is they don't mind if the other team dominates possession. You saw that against South Africa, where South Africa were clearly the dominant team. They dominated possession. They have many chances, but Cameroon defended well, and on the counterattack, they are absolutely phenomenal. They have some very fast players. Their spine is incredible. Baleba in that midfield was absolutely incredible against South Africa. And obviously having some other very good players like Brian Mbeumo, who can score many goals, they could cause an upset against Morocco. And I feel like Morocco is actually one of the best oppositions for Cameroon in these quarterfinals, because like I already said, Cameroon are a team who don't mind allowing the opposition to hold possession. And Morocco, as we've seen, have been holding possession very well in every single game they've played. They've won every game other than that 1-1 draw against Mali. But the one thing that Morocco have struggled a little bit is in the attack. Now, I'm not talking about El Kabi and Brahim Diaz because they've been absolutely incredible, but they've been the only goal scorers for Morocco's team. Their other wingers haven't been scoring. They haven't gotten any goals from their midfield, and that's a little bit scary if you're coming up against Cameroon. If you're Cameroon, you pretty much just have to double team El Kabi and Brahim Diaz. And other than that, I'm not sure if anyone can score for Morocco. Obviously, as Al-Zouli has been a little bit disappointing playing in that left winger position. Their midfielders have been good, but they haven't been able to have that final product of getting assists and scoring goals. And also recently, Morocco has suffered from some injuries, which will really affect them for the rest of this tournament. I think I'm going to go for an upset in this game. I think Cameroon can beat Morocco, and I think Morocco will be eliminated this round in the quarterfinals, as I think Cameroon is going to beat Morocco 2-1. Moving on to the next game, we have Algeria against Nigeria. Holy shit. Holy shit. This game is going to be absolutely crazy. Both of these teams are the only teams that have won 4 out of 4 matches, but one of them will fall in this stage. And who will it be? I'm going to start off with Niger because honestly, in this tournament, they have clearly been the best team and their attack has been absolutely phenomenal. They've already scored 12 goals. They've scored the most goals out of any other nation in this tournament. 12 goals from 4 games is absolutely phenomenal. And look at their strikers. Victor Osimhen getting multiple goals, Akra Adams getting a goal and multiple assists, and Ademola Lookman already having 7 goal contributions from his first 3 games played is crazy. And one thing that Nigeria have that a lot of other nations in this AFCON don't have is their squad depth is absolutely crazy. If you look at their bench players, they have players like Chukwueze, Moses Simon, Onuachu, Onyedika. They have some incredible players on the bench that they can bring on and punish you for the whole entire 90 minutes. And for me, it's not only the attack that's so important for Nigeria, but I think their midfield is arguably more important than their attack. Their midfield 3 of Onyeka, Ndidi, and Iwobi have been absolutely fantastic. And Iwobi is having the game of the tournament. People are calling him Pirlo, they're calling him Ronaldinho, they're calling him Xavi. I've heard people say Iwobinho. That's how crazy he's performing in this tournament. He's getting the assists to every single assist. He's been so good in that midfield. And I think Nigeria's midfield 3 will be the key aspect for them in this match. Now, if we look at Algeria, in my opinion, their first real test of this tournament was against DR Congo, and I don't think they performed that well. If you look at them in the group stages, they did get some very good wins against Equatorial Guinea, Sudan, and Burkina Faso. But Burkina Faso and Sudan, they didn't have the best tournaments, and Equatorial Guinea were surprisingly poor. So I think their first real test was against DR Congo, and I don't think they played that well. I think Congo definitely could have scored multiple goals in that game. A lot of Algeria's players were going down with injuries, slight injuries here, there, everywhere. So it could be a problem for them in this game against a very physical side like Nigeria. Now, 2 big advantages for Algeria is 1, the fans. Obviously, they are playing in Morocco, which is very close to Algeria, so there will definitely be more Algerian fans than Nigerian fans. And the second advantage for Algeria is their manager, Petkovic. I think he's a fantastic manager. We've seen him with Switzerland and what he was able to do. And with Algeria, I think his in-game management is very, very important to this team. So with that being said, Nigeria really need to score multiple goals and earlier on in the game if they want a chance to beat Algeria. So I think Nigeria need to score early goals in this game. But if you look at their game against Mozambique, which they were clearly able to do so, I think they can actually beat Algeria in this game. So with that being said, I think Nigeria will beat Algeria 3-2 and they will advance into the semifinals. And finally, the last match we have is Egypt against Cote d'Ivoire. I'm going to start off with Cote d'Ivoire because obviously they are the current holders of the AFCON. And with that being said, a lot of people were expecting them to make it very far in this tournament. And at the current moment, I don't think they've been disappointing at all. I think if you look at them back to the World Cup qualifiers, they were playing very defensive and they weren't really attacking that well. But in this tournament, they've been the complete opposite. Their attack has been absolutely phenomenal. 3 goals against Burkina Faso, 3 goals against Gabon. They scored against both Cameroon and also against Mozambique. Defensively, they've been good, but their attack has been fantastic. And the way that Cote d'Ivoire utilized their young, skillful wingers, players like Amad Diallo and Yan Diomande, these players are very, very fast, very skillful, and they can punish the best teams in Africa. So with that being said, they can definitely score goals in this game. If you move over to the other team, which is Egypt, yes, they got a very good 3-1 win against Benin. But honestly, in full time, they were not convincing in that game. A lot of people expected them to be able to comfortably beat Benin. And yes, the score looks like it was comfortable, but in those 90 minutes, it was anything but comfortable for Egypt. Benin actually had many chances where they could have actually won the game. And I feel like Egypt's attackers like Mohamed Salah and especially Omar Mahmoud did not have good games at all. I feel like Hossam Hassan really needs to change something in this game, because if he plays with the two starting attackers in Mahmoud and Mohamed Salah and they don't perform good once again, Cote d'Ivoire can win this game 2 or 3-0. So they really need to get either some of the other players performing well, or he has to pray that Mahmoud and Salah have good games. Now, Egypt do have a very solid midfield, but with the pace of some of Cote d'Ivoire's players, if they get past that midfield and they get to the defense, that's where I do think Egypt may struggle a little bit. And like I already mentioned, Cote d'Ivoire have some very, very fast players, and Egypt, on the other hand, their players are not so fast, especially their defenders. I feel like Cote d'Ivoire are going to play maybe a little bit more defensive in this game, but they're definitely going to try and go long, hit long balls up to Amad Diallo, to Yan Diomande, and I think they could score multiple goals against Egypt. With that being said, El Shenawi has been pretty good so far in this AFCON, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep out Cote d'Ivoire. I'm going to predict that Cote d'Ivoire beat Egypt 2-1. And that is the end of my quarterfinal predictions for the AFCON 2025. To be honest, I went a little bit rogue with some of the shouts. I definitely have a few upsets in there. So obviously, if you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But if you disagree with my predictions and you think some other nations that I said might get eliminated will actually end up winning, remember to leave your predictions down below and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. And obviously, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for my semi-final predictions.